Welcome to a very sunny California, where I've come to ride this, my dream gravel bike. And in this video, I'll share the amazing riding I've experienced here in Marin County over the last 2 days and go through the reasons why I built this bike and all the details on it. So I'm David, you're watching Just Ride Bikes. Let's dive in.
I've come to the birthplace of mountain biking. Repack, Gary Fisher, Tom Ritchie, Marin Bikes, the list goes on and on. This is where it all started. And a place I wanted to visit since I was a teenager in the 90s and first got hooked on this amazing sport. So why on earth have I brought a gravel bike? Because they can do it all. Road, gravel, single track, whatever you might encounter, you'll never be on the wrong bike. So when picking a bike for the trip of a lifetime, it seemed the obvious choice. So let me start by talking through the build and my equipment and why I think the dream gravel bike, and later in the video we'll go for a ride. And trust me, the riding in Marin County is some of the best I've ever experienced.
Let's start with the frame, the Specialized S-Works Crux, and the reason I chose it. And that reason is simply because of all the bikes I've ridden over the last 2 or 3 years, this is one that really stood out. The combination of the super low weight, the nice simple round tubes, the external cable routing, seat clamp and bottom bracket, the massive tyre clearance, and of course the great handling are the reasons I chose this bike. I still have my Fairlight Sacan steel gravel bike, of course, but I wanted something a bit lighter and a bit racier and a bit more stripped back. I also think Specialized have done a cracking job with the paint. There is a all black S-Works version, of course, which looks more pro, but I think the colorway on this bike looks fantastic. The fade up the fork, the hoops on the down tube, and the pair back decals. It doesn't really scream Specialized at you, so it's very subtle. So definitely top marks of Specialized for the finish of the bike. After the frame, the group set is one of the big choices to make when building a bike, and I was given the opportunity to ride the brand new SRAM Force Access group set with a massive 1044 cassette on the back and a 42 chainring on the front. I really like one by. It works for the riding I do when going off-road on a gravel adventure bike, and the new hoods, which are basically the same shape as the rival, are a big improvement. Much smaller, easier to hook your hands around, and I've gone for the optional blips underneath the bar tape, so when you're climbing on a long steady fire road with your hands on the tops, you can easily change gear without moving your hands to the hoods. So a really nice feature. And then to the wheels and tyres, which is one of the biggest decisions to make on a gravel bike, and there are many choices to make here. And because I'm not getting any younger or fitter, I need all the help I can get these days. Hence the reason I go for some deep section aero wheels. These are the Zip 303 Firecrest wheels. I'm really intrigued to see how they compare to cheaper 303S wheels I have used a lot, and whether the extra price is worth the upgrade. They have a wider internal width, which plays really well with a wide tyre. And here I've gone for a 45mm tyre from Pirelli. This is a new tyre. It uses a tread pattern based on their Scorpion XE mountain bike tyre, and I found it over the last 2 days to be a good tyre for road and kind of dry gravel. So the tyre seems to balance all the requirements of a gravel tyre well, certainly when it's dry. Haven't tried them in the mud yet, but I will when I get home. So I definitely wanted the bike to be fast, light and responsive, but I also wanted some comfort, which is why I've gone for wide tyres. And probably the most controversial part of the bike is the suspension seat post. This one from Cane Creek, which I haven't tried before, and I have been really impressed with it. You can feel the difference compared to a rigid seat post when you get on the bike, but it's not soft and wallowy and squidgy, and you only really notice it on bigger impacts. And after 2 days of riding, I've forgotten it's there, but I do feel the benefit in terms of my lower back. With a rigid seat post on a frame like this, I know my back would take a pounding on the rough trails when you're trying to hold high speed over the rocks, roots and other features you have to deal with. Last few details then, and I've gone for a zip stem. I have one lying around, nice short length. I prefer a shorter stem on a gravel bike just to make the handling a bit easier on twisting single track trails. So the handlebar is also from Zip. Again, one I had lying around. I had it on my Fairlight before. It's a Zip kind of gravel handlebar. A slight flare in the drops, nice ergo shape, quite a shallow drop as well, and it's a 42 centimeter width handlebar. So not super aero, not super wide, but I don't really like a super flared handlebar personally, and often they can move the hoods over to quite a wonky angle. So kind of a road setup really, and then I've got the Ergon all-road bar tape which matches the saddle. So nice 3mm thick bar tape for a bit more cushioning through the front end, and as I mentioned earlier, blips underneath the handlebar tape. Funnily enough, the only thing I haven't done with the bike is weigh it. It feels pretty light, it's definitely not heavy, but what do you think it weighs? Let me know your estimate by leaving a comment down below, and I'll reveal the answer when I get home and get it on the scales. And I weigh it as it is, with the pedals, computer, saddle pack and everything. Ready to go, ready to ride.
This might be the best gravel ever ridden. So nice. Dry, dusty, flowy. Even the fire roads are fun. Swoopy, just so good. The view is incredible. That backdrop down to San Francisco Bay, to the bridge, sun's out, and I'm really pleased with how the Crux be able to come out. It's fast, just climbs so well, plenty of gear range from the Force Explore setup. The 45mm tyres roll fast on the hard pack and grip in the loose. Super lucky to have Paul showing me his trail today. Local knowledge is so important. But riding out here though, you've got to come out here. It'll blow your mind. But riding another amazing trail up into the hills, nice view, Mount Tam on the horizon. I just can't get across how good the riding is out here though. It's just blowing my mind. I'd give anything to have this on my doorstep back home. I love the fact it's all accessible on one bike, road, gravel. And it's not slow on the road, more capable on the gravel. All these iconic names from my childhood mountain biking, reading MBUK and the Marin catalogue, all coming to life today. Even the road riding out here is spectacular. Riding this road along the coast right now, lovely views. Tarmac super smooth, the sun's out, just glorious. Now, time for cakes.
Wow. Can I get egg, bacon, sausage burrito?
There is amazing gravel to ride here, like you see behind me. It's all kind of forest tracks, in the woods, forest roads. Most of it's fairly smooth. In some places, it's probably better on a mountain bike. Look at that, pretty gnarly for a gravel fire track. And seeing that, I can totally understand why mountain biking was born here. When you have tracks like this, coming out with a bike and bombing down them must have been a hell of a ride back in the 70s, and also sketchy as hell. At times on this ride, it felt like we'd been in the middle of nowhere. No people, cars, just us. But that might change in a minute. One of the most iconic sights in the entire world. Isn't that amazing? How many movies is that featured in over the years?
The Rock. Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, it's Doubtfire, is it? That's an obscure one, that is. Put a comment down below for what films this bridge has featured in over the years. I've been lucky to ride some amazing places around the world during my cycling lifetime, but I think this is definitely right at the top, if not the top of that list so far. Let me know if you agree or disagree, but leave a comment down below. On the first day, went south, down to the Golden Gate Bridge. Amazing, spectacular. Today, day 2, heading north. So 2 days and plenty of time to sample most of what's on offer here. Just amazing how much the landscape changes in such a short amount of time. I mean, look at this. What's that look like to you? So this is Mountain Vision, which if you did any mountain biking in the late 90s, a name you'll definitely know. And one of the reasons why this has been an area on my shortlist to ride for, what, the last 20 years. And I love how the gravel bike just lets you ride the road and off-road all seamlessly. Fast on the road, fun off-road. Just a great way to explore this amazing part of the world. This is definitely a bucket list ride. 2 days, plenty enough to get a real taste for the area, ride some stonking good trails. You won't be disappointed. What a view to finish with. There's San Francisco, Alcatraz over there. The hustle and bustle of San Francisco, but we're over this side of the bay, heading home for a beer and a bit of food. But this has been an amazing ride, an amazing example of how good and how versatile gravel bikes are. Road, off-road, does it all.
I have more plans for this bike going forward, different tyres, different components, and let me know what you would change on this bike if you had a chance by leaving a comment down below. Of course, I didn't just come all the way to California to ride this bike. I was here for Sea Otter Classic, the biggest bike festival in the world. And if you missed my video from that event, you can watch it right now by hitting the button just here. And if you enjoyed this video, this content, your support means so much to me, and hitting that subscribe button down there would be amazing. Right, I've got a plane to catch to get back to UK, so I'll see you all again very soon. Thank you so much for watching.